Hey everyone, welcome back to the show. Today, we're going to be taking a deep dive into something that I think is super interesting, and it's the world of paid advertising,
Okay.
specifically Google Ads versus Facebook ads.
Hmm.
We've got this awesome podcast transcript that I think is really cool, and it's aimed at both beginners, like if you're just getting started with advertising, and
Yeah.
also like people who've been doing it for a while and want to kind of level up their campaigns.
Yeah, that's right.
So in the transcript, they talk about, some pretty juicy insights about how these platforms target users.
Right.
And it's interesting because they target users in completely different ways.
Yeah.
Like one of the platforms, it's all about capturing demand that's already there, right?
Okay.
People who are already looking for something.
Mm.
But the other one, it's about creating demand that doesn't even exist yet.
Yeah, that's a really key difference.
So that's what we're going to be diving into today. So I'm really excited about this one.
Yeah, me too. I think a lot of people hear about Google and Facebook ads, but they don't really understand like what makes them different.
Right.
And choosing the right platform can really make or break your campaign.
Exactly. Yeah.
So let's unpack that.
Okay, cool. So first things first, let's just like break down like what Google ads and Facebook ads even are.
Yeah.
Um, the transcript describes Google ads as like this platform where advertisers pay to display different kinds of content, like ads, obviously, but also list these videos
Mm-hmm.
across Google's massive network, right?
It's huge.
And it works on this pay-per-click model,
Yeah.
meaning you only pay when someone actually clicks on your ad.
That's right. And that's a really important point, I think, because it highlights how Google Ads is all about intent.
Okay.
The person who's searching is actively looking for something specific.
Right.
And your ad appears at that moment of need.
So you're there when they need you.
Exactly. Like think about the last time you Googled something. A question, a product, you're in that seeking mindset, ready to click and maybe buy.
Totally. Okay, that makes sense.
Mm.
So then, like, how does Facebook ads fit into this whole picture?
Yeah, so Facebook ads is actually interesting because it's not just Facebook.
Yeah.
It also covers Instagram Messenger and this thing called the Audience Network.
Okay.
So your ads can actually reach people across all these platforms, not just on Facebook itself.
Wow, okay, that's pretty broad.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
And the really key difference here, I think, is the targeting. So
Yeah.
unlike Google ads, where you're focusing on keywords,
Yeah,
Facebook ads is all about demographics, interests, even behaviors.
okay.
So you can get super specific with who you're targeting,
Wow.
which means you can reach people who might not even know they need or want your product yet.
So you're creating that demand.
Exactly. You're planting a seed,
Okay.
nurturing it over time.
Okay, that's really interesting. So, like, I'm thinking if you're a brand new startup, you don't have, like, a huge budget, do you think it makes more sense to go with Facebook ads first? Because the cost per click is usually lower.
That's a great point. And it kind of highlights how each platform is suited to different stages of a business's growth.
Right.
Like you might use Facebook to build that initial brand awareness and then later on transition to Google ads when you're ready to capture more of that direct demand.
Okay, that's a really cool strategy.
Yeah, and actually the transcript even suggests that a lot of businesses find success using both platforms
Yeah.
in a complementary way.
So it's not like either or.
No, it's about choosing the right tool for the job at the right time.
Right. Okay, so we've got, like, the basics now.
Yeah.
We know what these platforms are. We know how they work.
Yeah.
We know the targeting is different.
The key differences.
So let's get a little bit deeper.
Yeah.
Like, what about the ads themselves? Like the formats and the placement.
That's a great point.
How do those differ between Google and Facebook?
Well, the possibilities are vast on both platforms.
Yeah.
But they really reflect the fundamental differences in targeting that we've already talked about.
What do you?
So with Google Ads, you're mostly dealing with text-based ads
Yep.
that appear on search result pages, in articles, or as video ads on YouTube.
Right.
And they need to be really concise and clear
Yeah.
and directly relevant to what the person is searching for.
So it's all about that moment when they're searching.
Exactly. The right message at the right time to the right person.
Okay, got it. So then Facebook ads, what are those like, and how does that tie into their targeting strategy?
Well, Facebook ads are all about capturing attention visually,
Right.
often in a very visual environment like the Facebook or Instagram feed.
Right.
So think eye-catching images,
Yeah.
videos, even interactive elements,
Yeah.
things that make people stop scrolling and engage.
Okay, so it's more about the visuals and the storytelling.
Exactly.
Interesting. So it's not just about like throwing any old ad out there.
Yeah.
You really have to think about the format and the placement.
Yeah, it has to fit with your targeting strategy and your overall goal.
Yeah, it's like choosing the right outfit for a first date.
I love that analogy.
You want to make a good impression.
Exactly. You wouldn't wear a suit to a casual coffee date
Right.
or jeans to a fancy dinner. And the same applies to ad formats.
Okay, I love that analogy.
Yeah.
So we've got a pretty good handle on what these platforms are, how they work,
Yeah.
how the ads themselves play into the targeting.
Mm-hmm.
But let's talk about the thing that everybody wants to know.
Yeah.
Cost,
Money.
money. Yeah.
Yeah.
So how do these platforms actually compare when it comes to like budget?
So the transcript mentions that costs can vary a lot.
Okay.
It depends on things like competition in your industry and how narrow your targeting is.
Right.
But understanding the cost is super important when you're choosing between Google and Facebook.
Okay, let's dive into that then.
Yeah, let's talk money.
All right, let's do it.
Okay, so competition is a huge factor in cost.
Right.
You know, think of it like bidding on a rare vintage comic book
Okay.
versus a mass-produced auction figure. The rarer and more in-demand something is, the higher the price goes.
So like if you're in a super competitive industry like online fashion retail or something,
Exactly.
you're probably going to pay a lot more for your ads
Way more.
than if you were selling like, I don't know, handmade birdhouses or something.
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
That makes sense.
And on Google Ads, the specificity of your targeting also plays a big role.
Ah.
So like bidding on a broad keyword like shoes
Yeah.
is going to cost way more than targeting a niche phrase like vegan hiking boots size 9.
That makes sense. Because the more specific you are, the less competition you're going to have.
Right.
And so your costs are going to be lower.
Exactly.
But then doesn't a more general keyword reach like a wider audience?
Well, yeah, potentially.
So how do you find that balance between cost and reach?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
And that's where understanding the bidding system on each platform is really important.
Okay.
So on Google Ads, there's something called quality score.
Quality score. Okay. What is that? So essentially, Google wants to make sure that the ads they're showing are actually useful to people.
Yeah.
So they assign each ad a quality score, which then affects how much you pay per click
Okay.
and where your ad shows up in the search results.
So like a higher quality score means you pay less per click
Exactly.
and your ad gets seen by more people.
Well, it's more like it gets seen by the right people because it's considered more relevant.
So you really have to put in the work to create good ads.
Yes,
It's
absolutely.
not just about like throwing money at it.
No, it's about quality.
And making sure your ads lead to a good experience for the user.
Exactly. And the transcript really emphasizes this point.
Okay.
It's not just about bidding on keywords. It's about understanding all these factors that go into optimizing your campaigns.
Okay, cool. So going back to cost, the source material said that Google Ads can sometimes have a higher cost per click than Facebook ads.
Right.
Why is that?
Well, it goes back to intent.
Okay.
Remember, on Google Ads, you're targeting people who are actively searching for something. They're further down the sales funnel. They're closer to making a purchase.
So those clicks are more valuable,
Exactly.
and that's why advertisers are willing to pay more for them.
Exactly.
Okay, that makes sense. But does that mean Google Ads is always more expensive?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
Facebook ads usually have a lower cost per click,
Mm-hmm.
but you might need to reach a lot more people to get the same number of conversions.
Okay.
It's like casting a wider net to catch the same number of fish.
So you might be paying less per click, but you're paying for more clicks overall.
Right. It's all about finding that balance between cost per click and conversion rate.
Got it. Okay. So it seems like with paid advertising, you can't just set it and forget it.
Oh, definitely not.
You really have to be hands-on with it.
Yeah, it's a lot more involved than people think.
You need to be constantly analyzing data, tweaking your targeting
Testing different ads.
to really get the most out of your budget.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. And speaking of data, both platforms have those analytics dashboards.
Yeah, they're super robust.
They track everything.
Click-through rates, cost per click conversion rates, even return on ad spend.
Okay, so there's a lot to look at,
Mm-hmm.
but like what does it all actually tell us?
Well, that's where the power of data analysis comes in.
Right.
By looking at those metrics, you can start to understand which campaigns are performing well, which ones are falling flat, and where you can make adjustments.
So like if you see that an ad has a high click-through rate but a low conversion rate,
Yeah,
that can mean your landing page isn't good.
exactly. Or maybe it means your ad is misleading
Okay.
and it's attracting the wrong people.
So you've got to like constantly be testing and tweaking,
Absolutely.
figuring out what's working and what's not.
It's like solving a puzzle.
I like that.
Each piece of data gives you a clue,
Okay.
and when you put all the clues together, you can make better decisions.
Okay, cool. So we've covered costs, we've talked about performance measurement and data analysis.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, how do we actually choose the right platform?
That's the million-dollar question, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It feels like there's so much to consider.
There is. But the source material actually gives some really helpful advice here.
Okay.
It says you should align your platform choice with your business goals and your target audience.
Okay.
So for example, let's say you're an e-commerce company and you're launching a new line of sustainable activewear.
Okay.
Google Ads might be a great place to start.
Because you could target keywords like eco-friendly yoga pants
Yeah,
or sustainable workout clothes.
exactly.
Yeah.
You're capturing that demand from people who are actively searching for those things.
Makes sense. Okay, but what if your goal is more about brand awareness?
Yeah.
Like you want to reach a broader audience.
Then Facebook ads might be a better fit
Okay.
because you can use their detailed targeting options
Mm-hmm.
to get your message in front of people who fit your ideal customer profile.
So even if they're not searching for your product yet.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're introducing them to your brand and what you stand for.
Okay, that's really cool.
Yeah.
So it's about choosing the platform that aligns with your marketing goals. All right. This is all making a lot more sense now.
Yeah.
We've talked about what these platforms are, how they work,
Mm-hmm.
how to choose the right one.
Yeah.
But before we move on, are there any other key takeaways from the transcript?
You know, there are a few,
Okay.
and I think they're really important. So first of all, set clear goals for your campaigns.
Okay.
Like, what do you actually want to achieve? More website traffic,
Yeah.
increased sales, brand awareness.
Right. Because if you don't know where you're going, you'll never get there.
Exactly.
You need a destination.
That's right.
What else?
Start small and scale gradually.
Okay.
Don't feel like you need to spend a ton of money right away.
Right.
Experiment, test things out.
Like dipping your toes in the water.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And then increase your spending as you get more confident.
So it's like learning to cook.
That's a great analogy.
You don't start with a 7-course meal.
No, you start with the basics.
Right. You learn the techniques.
Exactly.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
What else?
Don't forget to continuously test and optimize.
Okay.
The world of paid advertising is constantly changing.
Right.
New platforms emerge, algorithms change, user behavior changes.
So you got to stay on top of it.
Yeah, you have
Yeah.
to adapt and be willing to experiment.
It's like a science experiment.
It is.
You're constantly testing and refining
That's right.
to figure out what works best for you.
Exactly.
Okay. And with the right tools and strategies, you can get amazing results.
You really can.
This has been super insightful. I feel like we've learned so much
I too.
from the basics of Google ads and Facebook ads to more advanced strategies.
Yeah, like lookalike audiences.
Yeah.
And combining platforms.
I think it really highlights the importance of always learning and experimenting in marketing.
That's so true. The landscape is always changing.
Right.
And the best marketers are the ones who can keep up.
So to our listener out there who's ready to conquer paid advertising, what's our final piece of advice?
My advice would be don't be afraid to just jump in and get your hands dirty.
Oh.
Experiment with the different platforms, test out different strategies, analyze your data,
Mm-hmm.
and see what works for you.
Find what works best for you.
Yeah, and remember, we're always here to help.
Absolutely. So the world of paid advertising is vast,
It is?
but with the right knowledge and the right mindset, you can do amazing things.
You really can.
So keep learning, keep experimenting, and keep pushing the boundaries.
Yeah.
And we'll see you next time.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, so I'm really fascinated by this idea of combining the strengths of Google ads and Facebook ads.
Yeah.
It's like creating this unstoppable marketing machine.
It really is.
But how would that actually work in the real world?
So let's say you're a company that sells high-end organic baby food.
Okay.
You could run a Google Ads campaign targeting keywords like best organic baby food or healthy baby food delivery.
Okay.
And you'd be reaching parents who are actively looking for those products.
So you're getting those people who are already ready to buy.
Exactly.
But then how does Facebook come into play?
Well, not every parent is actively searching for organic baby food.
Right?
Some might be totally happy with the conventional brands.
Yeah.
But maybe they're also interested in healthy living
Mm-hmm.
or eco-conscious products or supporting small businesses.
Okay.
And those are all things you can target with Facebook ads.
So you're reaching people who might be open to organic baby food,
Yes.
but haven't considered it yet.
Exactly.
So you're kind of planting the seed,
That's right.
introducing them to your brand.
Yeah, and here's where it gets really cool. You can actually use the data from your Google Ads campaign to create really targeted Facebook ads audiences.
Wait, what? Like, how does that work?
So there's this thing called a lookalike audience on Facebook.
Lookalike audience. What's that?
Basically, you give Facebook an audience that you already know is interested in your product.
Okay.
Like those people who clicked on your Google ads.
Mm-hmm.
And then Facebook uses its algorithms to find other users who have similar characteristics and interests.
Whoa. So it's like cloning your ideal customer.
Kind of, yeah. But on a massive scale.
So you're using Google Ads data to make your Facebook ads even better.
That's right.
That's so smart. And this works for other industries too, right?
Absolutely. Like imagine a SaaS company launching a new project management software.
Okay.
They could use Google Ads to target keywords like best project management software or project management tools for small businesses.
Okay.
And they'd reach those decision makers who are actively searching for solutions.
Right.
But then they could also use Facebook ads to target those same decision makers,
Mm-hmm.
maybe on LinkedIn or by targeting people who follow industry influencers.
So they're hitting them from all angles.
Exactly.
It's not just about capturing demand or generating demand.
Right.
It's about doing both.
It's about creating a whole ecosystem.
Yeah. I love that. It's like creating this surround sound marketing experience.
That's a great way to put it.
Okay, so it's not about picking Google or Facebook.
Yeah.
It's about using both strategically.
Exactly.
Wow, this has been an amazing deep dive.
Yeah, I agree.
We've learned so much.
We have.
From the fundamentals to like really advanced stuff.
Yeah, and I think it just goes to show that you always need to be learning and experimenting in marketing.
Right.
Because things change so fast.
So what's our final takeaway for our listeners?
Don't be afraid to get your hands dirty.
Okay.
Experiment, test things out,
Mm-mm.
see what works for you.
And remember, we're always here to help.
Absolutely.
So go out there and conquer the world of paid advertising.
You got this.
All right, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
And we'll see you next time.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, so we were talking about cost,
Hmm.
and you mentioned that it can vary a lot, like from industry to industry.
Yeah, it really depends on a bunch of factors.
Like what kind of factors?
Well, like we were saying, competition is huge.
Okay.
The more businesses that are trying to reach the same audience,
Yeah.
the more expensive those clicks are going to be.
It's like a bidding war almost.
Kinda,
Yeah.
yeah. And on Google Ads, it also depends on how specific your targeting is.
Mm.
So like if you're bidding on a really broad keyword like shoes,
Yeah.
that's going to cost you way more than something super niche like vegan hiking boots size 9.
Right, because there's probably way more competition for just the word shoes.
Exactly. There are going to be tons of businesses bidding on that.
Okay, so the more specific you are, the cheaper it is.
Generally, yeah.
Yeah.
But then you also have to think about reach.
Okay.
Like a broad keyword might reach more people.
Right. So how do you find that balance?
That's where it gets tricky. And that's where understanding the bidding system on each platform is really important.
Okay, so you're saying it's not just about picking the right keywords.
Right. It's about understanding how the whole system works.
And you mentioned something called quality score on Google Ads.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Can you explain that a little bit more?
So basically, Google wants to make sure that the ads they're showing are actually good quality,
Okay.
that they're relevant to the search, and that they'll lead to a good user experience.
So they don't want people clicking on ads that are like spammy or misleading. Okay.
So they give each ad this quality score,
Mm-hmm.
and that score affects how much you pay per click and where your ad shows up in the search results.
So a higher quality score means you pay less
Yep. And your ad is more likely to be seen.
by the right people.
Right, because it's considered more relevant.
So it's really important to create good ads.
Absolutely.
You can't just like slap something together and expect it to perform well.
Nope. You got to put in the effort.
And the transcript really stresses that point.
Yeah, it's not just about blindly bidding on keywords. It's about understanding all these different factors that contribute to a successful campaign.
Okay, cool. So we were talking about how Google Ads can sometimes have a higher cost per click than Facebook ads.
Right.
Why is that?
Well, it goes back to that idea of intent.
Okay.
With Google Ads, you're usually targeting people who are actively looking for something specific.
Yeah, they're searching for something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they're further along in the buying process.
Okay.
They're more likely to actually make a purchase.
So those clicks are more valuable to businesses.
Right. And that's why they're willing to pay more for them.
Okay, that makes
Yeah.
sense. But does that mean Google Ads is always more expensive?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
Facebook ads might have a lower cost per click, but you might need to reach way more people to get the same results.
Yeah, okay.
It's like casting a wider net.
So you might be paying less per click, but you're paying for more clicks overall.
Exactly.
It's all about finding that balance.
Right. Between cost per click and conversion rate.
Okay, so it seems like with paid advertising, it's not just about setting up your campaigns and then forgetting about them.
Definitely not.
You really have to be involved.
Yeah, you got to be hands-on.
Constantly analyzing data, testing different things,
Tweaking your targeting.
and make sure you're getting the most out of your budget.
Absolutely.
And speaking of data, both platforms have those analytics dashboards.
Yeah, they're super powerful.
They track like everything.
Click-through rates, cost per click conversion rates, return on ad spend, all of it.
But like, what does all that data actually tell us? How do we use it?
Well, that's the art of data analysis.
Okay.
By looking at those metrics, you can start to see what's working and what's not.
So like if an ad has a high click-through rate, but a low conversion rate,
Yeah.
what does that mean?
Well, it could mean that your landing page isn't very good.
Okay.
Or maybe the ad itself is misleading
Right.
and it's attracting the wrong people.
So you got to figure out why people are clicking but not converting.
Exactly. And then you can make changes to improve your results.
So it's like a constant process of testing and tweaking.
Yeah, it's all about optimization.
Okay, cool. So we've talked about costs, we've talked about performance measurement and data analysis. But now I'm wondering, like, how do we actually choose the right platform?
That's the big question, right?
Yeah, because it feels like there's so many things to consider.
There are, but the source material gives some good advice.
Okay, what does it say?
It says to align your platform choice with your business goals and your target audience.
Okay, that makes sense.
So, for example, if you're an e-commerce company launching a new line of sustainable activewear,
Okay.
Google Ads might be a great place to start.
Because you can target people who are specifically searching for those kinds of products,
Exactly.
like using keywords like eco-friendly yoga pants or something.
You're capturing that existing demand.
Okay. But what if your goal is more about brand awareness?
Mm-hmm.
Like you just want to get your name out there.
Then Facebook ads might be a better option.
Okay.
Because you can use their targeting options to reach a much broader audience.
So you can introduce your brand to people who might not even know you exist yet.
Exactly.
Okay. So it's about choosing the platform that best aligns with your goals.
Exactly.
All right. This is all making a lot more sense now.
Good. I'm glad to hear it.
We've talked about what these platforms are, how they work, the costs, the targeting.
They've covered a lot of ground.
But before we move on, are there any other key takeaways from the transcript that we should mention?
There are a few that I think are really important. So we were just talking about, how important it is to like set clear goals and stuff.
Yeah, like what are you actually trying to achieve with your campaigns?
Exactly. And to start small and scale gradually.
Right, like don't go all in right away.
Exactly. Test things out, see what works.
And then you mentioned continuous testing and optimization.
Yeah, that's super important. Because the world of paid advertising is always changing.
Right, new platforms pop up, algorithms get updated.
User behavior changes all the time.
So you got to stay flexible.
You got to be willing to adapt and try new things.
It's like you're running a science experiment.
It really is.
You're constantly testing and analyzing and refining your approach.
Exactly.
And I think that's what makes paid advertising so interesting.
It's definitely not boring.
Okay, so before we wrap up, I wanted to circle back to this idea of combining Google ads and Facebook ads.
Oh, yeah, that's a really cool concept.
Like you were saying, it's almost like having this like dynamic duo of marketing superheroes.
Kind of.
But I'm still a little fuzzy on how that would actually work in practice.
Okay, so let's go back to that example of the organic baby food company.
Okay.
So they're running their Google Ads campaign, targeting those high-intent keywords.
Like best organic baby food or whatever.
Exactly. And they're catching those parents who are actively searching for those products.
Right. They're already in the market.
But then they can use Facebook ads to reach a whole other group of parents.
Okay.
Parents who might not even be thinking about organic baby food yet.
So how do they do that?
Well, maybe those parents are interested in healthy living or eco-friendly products.
Right.
And those are all things you can target with Facebook ads.
Ah, so you're kind of introducing them to this whole new world of baby food.
Exactly. You're planting the seed.
I like that. And then you said you can use data from Google ads to create even better Facebook ads.
Yeah, so Facebook has this thing called a lookalike audience.
Lookalike audience. What is that?
Basically, you give Facebook a list of people who are already interested in your product.
Okay, like from your Google Ads campaign.
Exactly. And then Facebook uses its algorithms to find other users who share similar characteristics and interests.
Wow. So it's like finding more people just like your best customers.
Exactly.
That's amazing. And you're saying this works for other businesses too, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like imagine a software company that's launching a new project management tool.
Right.
They could use Google Ads to target people who are searching for project management solutions.
Right.
And then they could use Facebook ads to reach people who follow industry influencers or who work at companies that might need that kind of software.
So they're kind of surrounding their target audience with their message.
Exactly.
It's like they're hitting them from all angles.
That's a great way to put it.
And it's not just about capturing existing demand or creating new demand.
Right.
It's about doing both.
It's about building a comprehensive strategy.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's like you're creating this symphony of marketing
Yeah, each a platform playing its part.
to create this amazing overall experience for the audience. Wow, this has been so insightful.
Yeah, I agree.
We've learned so much about Google Ads and Facebook ads.
And how to use them together?
I think the biggest takeaway for me is that you always have to be learning and adapting in marketing.
Absolutely. The landscape is always changing.
So for our listener out there who's just starting their paid advertising journey, what's our final piece of advice?
I would say just start experimenting.
Right.
Try different things, see what works for you.
Don't be afraid to make mistakes.
Yeah, everyone makes mistakes.
It's all part of the process.
Exactly. And remember, we're always here to help.
Absolutely. So go out there and create some awesome marketing campaigns.
You got this.
Thanks for joining us.
It was my pleasure.
And we'll see you next time for another deep dive.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.